child once. TV was a big part of my childhood. Me and my friends used to watch all the old Batman cartoons and the theme song, na 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 Batman, and we'd sing back, na 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 Batman, because we were girls back then. Except for, and I would always want to sing back too, but the problem was when I was younger I had a stutter. So it sounded more like na 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 ba 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 ba. Couldn't get it out. Music was also a big part of my childhood. Anyone here a fan of NSYNC? Okay, I'm not. And that's because when I was growing up, the greatest musical artist ever to walk this earth was in their prime. That was the Backstreet Boys. And the Backstreet Boys really spoke to me when I was like 5. Because if there's anything a 5-year-old like me went through was like relationship turmoil, you know what I mean? So like, and after a while, listening to the Backstreet Boys, I was like, I gotta try this stuff out. This relationship stuff sounds crazy. So 5-year-old me had a girl over, and it was going so well for a first date. We like made it into my hot tub and stuff, and it was going so well. And so just picture 5-year-old me. I was like 3 feet shorter and weighed the same. But I was full of confidence, just full of confidence. And I, remembered in the hot tub, the most important thing the Backstreet Boys ever taught me is that when it comes to love, there's nothing worse than a missed chance. So I look at her and I'm like, it's time to make the move. So I look over to her and I'm like, hey girl, Backstreet Boys. Hey girl, don't you think we should kiss? And she was like, nah. So I've been single ever since that. It's true, I am single. People are single for a lot of different reasons. I'm actually single by choice. It just wasn't my choice. The Backstreet Boys had a lasting impact on me, really. I'm sure a lot of you could tell just by the way I walked out on stage that I'm actually a rapper. My rapper name is Skim Milk. And my catchphrase is, if the haters be hollering, they're just lactose intolerant. I have my first album coming out later this year. It's called Provolone. But I'm sure a lot of you also noticed that when I walked out on the stage that I'm like horrifyingly thin. The thing is that when you're this skinny, I mean, you know there's a reason for it. It's because I don't work out, that's part of it. I don't know why that's funny, but it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I don't work out, and I obviously it's healthy, but some people work out when they're stressed, to relieve stress. That makes no sense to me. Like, I would never be like, geez, I overslept this morning, I showed up late to work, my boss yelled at me, now I'm probably gonna get fired. Hey, I know, maybe now's a good time to remind myself that I can't do a chin-up. That's gonna make my day better. But there are advantages to being this skinny, because like, I can eat whatever I want, and I will never put on weight. Ever. So, which is kind of nice because like I have an awful diet. Like, let me put it this way: if the phrase "you are what you eat" were true, I'd be 1,000 chicken McNuggets surrounding 1 accidental green bean. That's the point I'm at. And I thought, like a lot of people, that my diet would change and get better when I got to college. Like I got here and I was like, I'm gonna stop eating unhealthy food. But then I got here and they did the dining halls, and then it was like, I'm gonna stop eating in general. Like. I saw one time this guy was taking Instagram photos and putting them online of dining hall food. And I was so confused. Oh my God. Because like, who's gonna be impressed by dining hall food? It's never gonna be like, oh, hey ladies. I couldn't help but notice you staring at me in this grilled cheese sandwich. I cut it in half myself, with a fork. The food wasn't the only thing that surprised me about getting on a college campus, is that some of the stuff that they offer, like, there's something called student disability services. And I don't know if you guys seen, there's like these carts that drive around kids that have like broken legs and like can't walk to class. They drive them around campus, which is an awesome program. But one time I was walking on the sidewalks and I almost got hit by the student disability services program. I think they were trying to drum up business. scary place, man. You gotta be careful. Like, a lot of people are afraid to walk around, especially at night, because they're afraid they're gonna be, like, attacked. Which is, like, I'm not too afraid of, because that danger is there. It's real, it exists. Like, I'm not afraid of being, like, jumped by, like, a jumper, or whatever you call them. Like, I'm afraid of being attacked by something that I just would not expect to attack me. Like a rogue dentist. Like, if you think you just like the regular dentist, just imagine like a weird vigilante kind of dentist. Like the kind that only works at night. It doesn't play by the rules. He'll like tackle you on your doorstep and make you floss. His arch nemesis is one old guy who always forgets his insurance information. That's what I'm most afraid of. But yeah, I'm a big nerd. I obviously go here and I study physics, astronomy, and math. I'm a big nerd. I'm going to be in school for a long time because that's what I'm pursuing. And I read this recently, and this is true, that in Finland, when you get a PhD, you're given a top hat and a sword. It's true, a top hat and a sword. Now, I know that bullying is a problem in schools nowadays. Doesn't giving swords to the nerds kind of solve the problem? Yeah, no, and bullying is a really important thing, and I work at a restaurant in town, and one time this guy was sitting at the bar, and he was telling the other people around him about bullying and like how big of a problem it still is in schools, and as I walk by, he goes, "Oh yeah, hey buddy, you want to weigh in here?" And then he goes, "Because you look like you've been bullied before." Who does that? I mean, who says that? Like, so people say that kind of crap to me all the time, like when I was growing up. Like one time in elementary school, like in 4th grade, me and this other kid were arm wrestling. Because apparently something went down that meant that we had to solve it the old-fashioned way. And so we're going at it, and the teacher sees us and panics. She runs over, she goes, "Boys, stop it! Spencer's gonna get hurt!" I had to give up. That was in front of all my friends. Like, you can't go on after that. So the summer after 4th grade, I took it really hard. I had to reinvent myself. So I was trying to find a hobby that would be like really cool and impressive, like when I showed other people. So I went out and bought a harmonica. Don't ask me why, I really don't know. But I bought a harmonica, and I was so excited when I got my harmonica. I'm like, this is the turning point of my life. This is it right here. But when I got home, it was dinner time, which normally isn't a bad news, but I had a harmonica waiting for me. So when I got there, we had Papa John's pizza on the counter, and I was like, I gotta eat something. So I ate 3 pieces of Papa John's pizza as fast as I could. And it was to the point where the 3rd one was almost done. I took the biggest bite of anything I ever have, and I kind of like ran up to my room. Because like a harmonica, so, and as I get up there, and I rip open the harmonica box, that was $10. Fancy, I know, but like, so I have this harmonica, and I rip it open, and as I'm finishing that big bite, I barely swallow it, and then I just blow the crap out of this thing. And it is the most horrendous sounding thing ever, but I was so excited. Because the thing is, I did not know anything about how to play the harmonica. And I definitely didn't know anything about harmonicas in general. Like the fact that if you have any strong stench on your breath, it's gonna stay in the harmonica forever. I'm not kidding. But this was 9 years ago. And to this day, if I ever go and play that harmonica, I taste Papa John's pizza and buyer's remorse. Other than that, 5th grade was pretty good. I had a nice teacher, Mrs. Wallace, and I liked her a lot, except for the fact that halfway through the year she got pregnant, which really confused me. Not because she got pregnant, but the fact that when she said to us that she was pregnant, she said that she had a bun in the oven. And that's a stupid phrase if you think about it, a bun in the oven. Because what kind of oven makes buns one at a time? The only kind of oven that bakes buns one at a time is an easy bake oven, but that's no way to refer to a pregnant woman. New kid moves here. His name was Lance, and Lance I did not like. Not because I had anything against him when I first saw him, But the fact that when he got here, I'm like, I'm gonna introduce myself. He's a new kid, I'm sure this is hard. So I walk over and I'm like, hey man, how's it going? What's your name? He goes, Lance. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. Anyways, I'm Spencer. And he goes, oh yeah, probably. And then he like walks over to where the girls are and just starts talking to them. And I was just like, who has the brass to do this to me? Like who? So like a week after he gets here, the whole school takes a field trip to a K-Wings game, the local semi-pro hockey team. And the whole school district is there. So everyone is there cheering on the K-Wings when they host the Rockford Ice Hogs out of Chicago. But guess who's from freaking Chicago? Lance! Lance is from Chicago, and not only is he from Chicago, he brought a Airhawks jersey with him and a hat like, I don't know, like he has the nerve, you know what I mean? So, and the Airhawks were just killing the K-Wings. And it was to the point where it was 3-1 at the end of the third period, and the Airhawks score again. The place is dead quiet, but I hear some jerk kid 3 rows back stand up and go, go Hogs! Go, K-Wings suck! He's like pointing at us and stuff. And I had it. I was like, his tyranny ends today, right now. And he's standing up like 3 rows behind me, so I'm like, I gotta do something. So I turn around and go, sit down, Lance! I did that. It was not Lance I was yelling at. It was a super pregnant Mrs. Wallace who was sitting between us and had just stood up to use the bathroom as I yelled, sit down. You may be asking, hey Spence, like, why do you care so much about something that happened so long ago? I'll tell you why, because Miss Wallace had her baby soon after that game. And I know we can all assume she didn't name it Spencer after me. That's probably fine. It makes sense after that. But I'm just so worried that she named that freaking kid Lance. Because I had never knew what that kid had against me. And I thought about it for so long, and I think I finally got it, guys. I know we're all thinking it, it's because I have freckles. It's true, I did grow up freckled. Because no one likes the freckled kid, let's be honest. And I know that because I grew up half ginger. Thanks, Mom. So I grew up half ginger, and like you gotta understand that like freckled people come in like all shapes and sizes. Like you can be freckled and fat, you can be freckled and tall, you can even be freckled and rich. But the one thing you can't be when you're freckled is freckled and proud. People don't give you that. So by default, you have to be freckled and sad. Yeah, because like freckled pride doesn't exist. There aren't freckled support groups. There's no like freckled bubble on your tax form. There's just like non-existent. Like you're really on your own. But I have a dream, ladies and gentlemen, that one day every person in the world will have freckles. And I know that's possible because of one word: evolution. If we can get this done, we can evolve into this freckled species, homo freckless, as I say. We can evolve to this, and if you don't believe me, let me tell you this. Neanderthals didn't have chins. Like this right here just wasn't happening. That just didn't exist, which means that at some point, some freak Neanderthal baby was born with a chin. And when he grew up, he mated with so many women and had so many kids that the chin worked its way into the gene pool. So think about it, this guy must have been pretty damn dynamite to do this first dude with a chin. Like, he was probably like the first Eric. Like, he was the first guy ever named Eric, and Eric the Neanderthal was Mr. Everything. Like, in the mornings, he would spend them like running a shelter for blind puppies. And in the evenings, he would throw parties at his beach hut, which also had the first known gazebo. And in the process, he spread his DNA over so many people and places that the chin would enter the world forevermore. And there was no turning back. But the reputation, the history of the chin, along with Eric the Neanderthal, was forever ruined by the advent of the goatee. And no one likes chins anymore. No one. So that's why when my freckled super race takes over, we're not gonna mess around with that crap. We're gonna do it right. And I'm gonna be there to personally oversee every step of it. And my first action as ruler of this new race will be to make sure that no child born into this earth is ever named Lance again. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.